Alrighty. So my plan for today, uh, I'm gonna start by reading the news. I just went out and got a coffee, which I feel like is worth mentioning for one reason, and that is because every other time I ever go out, it's like I go on an adventure, and this time it was just a coffee. Come back and get to work, kind of. You can call what I'm about to do work. That's good. So how does this work? Right. So what I really want to do is get the SEOs. I was in a good mood yesterday, and the reason was because because that the whole like summarizing the SEO articles, I felt like it went really well. I was just really it just feels like progress. And I made a little tiny bit of progress yesterday. So then I walked down to the night market and um I I listened to some people play some live music. They were great. They were so, there were some pretty decent singers. I mean, only two singers, but I mean, they sang pretty decently most of the time. They sang some songs that I'm familiar with, and then all Chinese. I mean, this whole place couldn't possibly be, it's just like something that was manifested from my subconscious. And I feel so great in Taiwan. I feel so comfortable in Taiwan because Um, when I first came to Taiwan in 2006, I really didn't like it. 20 years ago, I did not like Taiwan at all. Uh, it was not. It was like it's not real Chinese. It's like fake Chinese. And they're like, but they're also like not American. And I was like, I was clearly very much an American that wanted to learn Chinese. And by Chinese, I don't mean just the language. Everything there is to learn. And so I don't know, Taiwan wasn't, but now I'm like a guy who doesn't know whether he's American or Chinese or some hybrid, or I'm just terminally confused about my own identity. And there's a war raging within me about where I, what I really, where I really belong. And that makes Taiwan perfect for me. That is exactly what Taiwan is. That's how every Taiwanese person feels. Like I'm Chinese, but I'm not Chinese, but I am Chinese, but I'm not Chinese. But like I'm more connected to Japan and America than I am to China. But like I am Chinese, but like I hate China. But like, and at the end of the day, it's just like, can you just let me be this, whatever this is? Just let me be it, and don't fuck with me. That's all I ask. So it's perfect for me now. Um, Anyways, I didn't really even mean to get into that. So the issue is that the news is fucking crazy lately. The news has been insane lately. Um, and I would like to stay on top of it because I am a news addict. And what that means is that if I get behind on the news, I have to catch up eventually. And when I catch up, it's this big interruption to my life. But I feel like, just like I did yesterday, I can kind of just catch up on all the news. I was just watching, there's a hearing going on about it's a public hearing with testimony from lots of experts. And it's all about the impeachment of President Lai. They're trying to impeach President Lai Ching-te, which is just, I mean, the thing about the news right now is like it's just every angle is interesting. Every single thing that's happening is like, holy shit, the whole world could pivot on this axis. With Iran, with Greenland, with Mexico, with Cuba, with Venezuela, with Minneapolis, with ICE. Just like anything could happen at any moment. So you kind of got to keep up on it. And honestly, this is kind of what I like. This is the times that I like. Like I kind of liked COVID, uh, even though obviously there was a lot of things that sucked about it. But because I am just a news addict, when I have like a great excuse to just read the news all day, I like it. I'll take it. Um, I was gonna roll out of bed and start right away today, but I didn't because my computer wasn't charged. And now, yeah, it's like if I bump this at all, it stops charging. So that's not good. What the hell? It's not charging. And that's literally the only reason I went and got a coffee was because it's not charging. Is my phone charging? My phone is charging. But this bitch is not charging. Oh, you know what? It actually was charging. It was just that where the mouse was, it was covering up the part that shows that it was charging. But I need to put it in a place where I'm not going to be repeatedly knocking it. Otherwise, it will stop charging very soon. Yeah, so I'm going to get looking into the news and then basically move on to the SEO news and graphs. But I'm going to try to do that, try to make a clear distinction that when I switch in SEO stuff, I'll be on the other channel. And I don't know, I do need to figure out my life a little bit. I need to do laundry. I need to get money. I need to figure out where I'm going to live next month. And I only have 5 days left before my phone stops working. So I do have things, life things. But let's pretend I don't and just read the news. This I can narrate this right now because I'm fresh for the day and just drank some caffeine. But most of the time, I wouldn't want to give the play-by-play with that much specificity. However, well, two things. One is maybe I should go with the headphones. Hopefully I didn't break them. They've kind of been in my bag for a while here. Yeah, so I'll narrate this until I run out of steam. Also, I just haven't really actually talked to another museum for so many days, and I don't know how long I can do that without going completely insane. And again, I am slightly worried because when you do go completely insane from not talking to people for a long time, Taiwan can be a difficult place to be because other places people force themselves upon you,
If people don't force themselves upon you. It takes a while to warm up to people and get to know them. They're not like Japanese. They're not as bad as Japanese in terms of like it's just always this politeness forever. But but it can be a little difficult. And, you can't just expect, oh, I'm just gonna go get drunk and talk to people, and then like, so it's sort of like you don't really want to wait. Like, but even last night when I was at the night market drinking, and I was just like, I really don't want to talk to anybody. Like, if somebody comes up and talks to me, I'm gonna like try to get away from them because honestly, because the thoughts in my head are really good right now. I'm not high. I'm not distracted by dumb people. There's a lot going on in the world. I have a lot of relevant knowledge about all of it. Uh, so like, I just kind of want to keep cooking without having to take time to talk to people that most likely they don't see things the way I see things. They're not as insane as I am. Most likely they don't have my particular brand of schizophrenia. Uh, and if they do, they probably are not smart enough to really have that distinction. They're just gonna know, especially in Hualien. If I was in Taipei, but I mean, I used to feel that way the same way in Taipei. But I don't know. If people are like, but I was around these college kids, and I was college age myself, but I was a little old for college at that point. I was 22. But I was about to say, I think milk makes me sleepy, so I gotta stop drinking the lattes. I never drink lattes in the US. Billionaires in California. What the hell was I talking about a second ago? How, yeah, it's, there's really, there's like, even for example, on the way over on the train, I met this guy that's in the Taiwanese military. So you think you could talk to him about stuff, but I didn't even try. And maybe I could have. Maybe he actually has like a very astute mind in terms of the whole entire like the geopolitics of it all and everything, the economics of geo. But I tend to find even somebody that's extremely knowledgeable, they tend to be very knowledgeable about one fucking topic. Like if they know about law, they know about law, but they don't know about economics. If they know about economics, they know about economics, they don't know about law. If they know about either of those things, they don't know anything about military. About, yeah. Hardly anybody has any clue how intelligence agencies function. Which honestly, that was one thing I was thinking when I was listening to the Minister of Defense, the Taiwan Minister of Defense, give his testimony the other day. I was like, I don't think I remember anything about how intelligence agencies function. I certainly don't know about how the Taiwan intelligence agencies function because that was not something. I mean, I studied the U.S. intelligence agencies and I studied the Chinese ones. The Taiwanese ones, not so much. Uh, but and then I was like, should I try to get like a master's degree in intelligence? And I was like, what if I went got like a degree at a university here, um, studying like international relations? Wouldn't that be sweet? Because I can like, I mean, first of all, it'd be so easy. It would be so easy. Um, secondly, and by easy I mean like not that I don't have to put the effort in, but I know exactly how to go about planning. Um, and then secondly, you get a monthly stipend to live on. And then third, you don't have to worry about visa issues. And then fourth, you get to meet a bunch of cool people from around the world. So I don't know. It could be fun. there's an age limit on any of this. If you're going for a master's degree. But then, it was like, we just start a business. Let's just make money, start a business. So we'll see. Maybe I can do both. I'm not going to plan on doing both, but I'm going to plan on starting a business and then see if maybe there's like extra time and space to do that. Or something like that. I don't know. Put that on the back burner for the time being. Oh, okay. So there's a post-submission refugee re-verification integrity strengthening. Re-examining and re-interviewing refugees that have come to Minnesota in the last 3 years. Specifically those that have not gotten their green card status. We thought that they would maybe be interviewing people at Immigration Services and asking them some questions, she said, when in fact they're going to people's homes, surrounding their homes, drawing their guns, and asking people to come out of the house. Refugees are then arrested, briefly detained locally, and transferred out of state. Arresting them, deporting them, and moving them to Texas. Families are left with no information. Yeah, I can see how that would be terrifying, especially if you're in the country illegally. And I will say I saw a video where they were talking to like a minor, and they wouldn't let him go in and get his ID, and they wanted to detain him without letting him go in and get his ID. They were like outside of his home. So, and again, the thing about these ICE operations is, I've said it, like they shouldn't have let all these immigrants in, and it sucks. This whole thing sucks. But you do have to enforce the immigration law in some way. And unfortunately, the people that enforce the law are stupid. Because cops are stupid. Every cop I've ever met is dumb as hell. They're just dumb. They're just like, hey, they're like, like, put your hands back further. It's like, I can't put my hands back anymore. Don't talk. Or, like, so they give you like conflicting instructions. And then with like at gunpoint. This is how cops do it. But unfortunately, somebody has to enforce the immigration. Minnesota described their encounters being detained by ICE. O'Keefe put another vehicle at 3 ages. She said they started taunting and mocking her and called her ugly. You guys gotta stop obstructing us. That's why that lesbian bitch is dead. live on Lake Street while dropping off their kids at school. This kind of reminded me though of the LA riots where you have like agent provocateurs that infiltrate both sides, the police and the protesters, in order to aggravate the situation. So you could certainly have a case where the vast majority of ICE agents are following the law and doing their job as best they can within the confines of the law, but there are certain people that are out there violating the rights intentionally just for the sake of provoking police security. ICE presence in Minnesota dwarfs the state's largest police force. They have 3,000 federal agents. Like 3,000, I don't know if that's going to be on top of them, or if they're the 10 largest metro police departments combined. He's going to stop $2 billion in Medicaid payments. He is declaring war on Minnesota, and honestly, I love it. I love it. I mean, I can't say enough how much it does suck for the people that are being victimized by the situation. You know, it's honestly, it's kind of like Ukrainians shutting down Russian energy power plants and leaving Russians in the cold in the winter. It's like, I don't want that to happen to any Russians. I don't hate any Russians. I don't want them to suffer. And it sucks for them. But still, you love to see it. Because, like, thank God Ukraine is able to fight back. Because they've endured far worse for longer. And the only way that this can ever come to a conclusion that's beneficial for them is if they are able to fight back even more effectively. So yes, this sucks for people of Minneapolis. It sucks for people that are caught up in the middle of this. People that get detained by ICE. People that are terrorized by the presence of ICE. And people that need Medicaid or ABT or Trump's cutting knife. But like, dude, you guys distorted the economy so bad in such a way that you made it impossible for people to just work and advance their way through life, get a house and have kids and children and raise a family by just working hard. You took away all the safety nets. And then you made it so that you can live like as a fraudulent lowlife. Like that's your other option. You either have to be like a superstar or you have to be a fraudulent lowlife. And there's like almost nothing in the middle. And it's bullshit. It is bullshit. You need to reduce the immigration. You need to enforce the immigration laws. You need to let wages increase without flooding the zone with cheap migrant labor. And then you need to pump up the economy with lower interest rates, which is why I'm also happy to see that Trump is going after Powell for perjury. Hopefully Powell gets convicted of perjury. And you don't need to deregulate, you just stop giving people handouts. And I was a recipient of handouts, so assuming you give them opportunities and just don't give them handouts. If you don't give opportunities and then stop the handouts, that's to illegally stop every $2 billion payments. If it's illegal, then the courts will rule that the payments go through. So that's for the kind of for the courts to decide whether it's illegal or not for fact that, I mean, here's the thing. If Waltz was innocent in all this, if Waltz truly believed that this was all just overreach on the part of the government, on the part of Trump, uh, and there's no fire where the smoke is, and then why did he pull out of the re-election? He would be championing. Uh, he'd he'd love to be the fighter, the hero, saving people from evil Trump, or just fighting the good fight against evil Trump. But the fact is, he pulled out of the re-election because he knows that he's got a lot of dead bodies buried, and that they're probably going to find him. Okay, I really didn't mean to provide this much commentary on the plan. I just want to catch up on what I missed since I went to sleep last night. Now, what I'm looking for is Trump. Trump said he was going to end homelessness. So I don't know what the plan is to end homelessness. Is it to ship all the homeless to El Salvador? I don't know. But that is relevant to me. Because if I move back to America right now, I will be homeless. So if he ends homelessness, if there's some government program or something that guarantees housing, then I would love to. There's a lot of news about this ending of the protected immigration status. There's only like 500 of them. Promises that they should have a day of reckoning. You know why? Because they cheat. They've been cheating in the elections, left and right. And the Republican Party is run by Democrats in Minnesota. Yes, honestly, they desperately need this. They need this. This is such a healthy thing because it was never going to happen internally. To have the Democrats, the power structure of the Democrats shaken up. I feel like going on X. That's on there. That way. right now, I would like to just check. All right. I really just want to know what Minnesota Trump race percent. That's what I'm looking for. RSS feeds. I've read that. That's nice. Okay, stop resisting. Stop resisting. But then they'll put you in a situation where you have to resist or die. time when this Chinese guy got like I was his interpreter. He got like restrained and then physically restrained and then mentally. And I was his interpreter, and he didn't do anything, and I didn't do anything. And I, in retrospect, I 100% should have jumped in and said, "Hey guys, you're being fucking idiots. Chill the fuck out. Let me interpret. You haven't let me interpret anything that he said." But I had never been in that situation before. Like every other call, I always slowly wait for the interpretation to take place. But in this case, they just kept switching from one guy to another guy to another guy to another guy on the that I was supposed to interpret for. And meanwhile, like I'm trying to interpret what he's saying, but they keep switching who I'm talking to. And meanwhile, some other guy will be like restraining him. Well, and it's like motherfuckers, he didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't agitated. He's simply trying to ask questions. And that's exactly like, where they're like accusing him of like being out of line. And it's like, guys, I know that he hasn't been out of line because I know for a fact you haven't listened to a single thing that he said because it's my job to say on his behalf. And I hope that guy's okay. I hope that guy's okay, but that's top logic. Hundreds of high school students walked out on protest federal immigration. My question is, what does that accomplish? I'm not saying you should do that. Obviously, you have the freedom of speech to do that, but like, you realize that these protests accomplish absolutely nothing. They literally, you're giving Trumpers like myself exactly what we want. So I mean, it's sort of like I was thinking the other day about what would happen if the wrong person is elected president of Taiwan, and then you have to try to like make his ability to govern ineffective, stop him from being able to govern because, and then it's like a Hong Kong situation, and it's sort of like how do you do that exactly? How do you make society not function when you need society to function for your own life, for your living? And what are the real levers of government, or that? What actually does bring society to a halt? And it's not more for someone to say ice out when you have no authority over ice. Just all of the people that you could potentially have influence over and make your governors or senators, and then none of them are in favor of ice. And you didn't vote for Trump, so you have no authority. Your say does not matter at all. So sure, have the protest. Just realize it's pointless. And my point is like, where would they actually have leverage? That's the question. Where would they actually have leverage? But I'm sure that if anybody knows Keith Ellison, that if Keith Ellison is busy and indicted, then that might be him running for his which probably he doesn't have good hands. Probably is not really that effective. building's going to hire 250,000 workers. This is going to cost. That is a good blue collar, bleeding into white collar jobs. That's that if you're like a engineering, predicts a complete realignment of police. The thing about Trump is that he throws so much shit at you that you can't even. I mean, a normal president, like the tariffs would have been the whole thing. And the midterm would have been all about tariffs. And if there were no tariffs, then Venezuela would have been the whole thing. We have already forgotten about Venezuela. We've already moved on. Because all the by the time you're finished dealing with the other countries, or eventually you were originally trying to get angry about it. Yeah, the credit card company interest rates going down. I thought you were going to see ideas for affordability on how to tackle credit cards and homelessness. Also, mental homelessness. I mean, I think Japan is even more friendly to Taiwan than the US is, which is why it's so weird that all of these, every time they war game, they always like just talk about how the US will respond against Japan. Japan was not wrong for peace trade. Japan does not want to calibrate nothing. Japan doesn't want to be dependent on China. It doesn't want to calibrate children. they were the best companies I've had with years. Better than any China, any companies I had in China. Better than any companies I've had in the US. If you sell these helmets, they would literally be like $30 in Minneapolis. $1. It's fantastic. Little bit like Saturday companies campaign. Helmets are gonna look good. So, eight dumplings are $14, but I bought 10 dumplings for $1.50. So if you wanted to get 10, you'd have to get 6, which is $28. And then it's tax. Dude, I'm very honest. Anyways, I can even go to 7 years or so. Shit, this is China. Drones hit 3 community damage center. Oh, dude. That's technically sensors. I was thinking last night, Russia. All are having their oil taken offline. So that was really put China in a tough spot. And I kind of think that's the thing. That's why that happened. Was started by US. With the Ukrainian folks, could you explain something on part of this later? You know, only 30% of China is oil. Only 30% of China is having extra locations. Take not a lot of time. Thousands of small states duplicating I thought there was 400. didn't ask it. What was happening? Says it helps on labor down. The second order tariffs. That's quite a big. That's 25% more tariff. Up.
Well, I hope I wasn't missing all of that because I had things to say there. Anyways, so yeah, wait. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? What is the latest news about the attempt to impeach Lai Ching-te?
That the legislature passed, which is a pretty unusual move. The legislature is now holding hearings and will have President Lai give his defense over the next few months. The final vote on whether to move the impeachment forward is set for May, but Lai himself is calling the whole thing a waste of time since he thinks the opposition doesn't have the votes to push it through.
What was the legislation that he refused to enact?
So, in a nutshell, the legislation that sparked all this was a bill meant to increase how much funding local governments in Taiwan get. President Lai Ching-te refused to sign it because he was worried about its impact on fiscal sustainability. That refusal led to the opposition starting impeachment proceedings against him. The legislature actually voted to proceed with the impeachment process in late December, and they'll have a final vote by May 2026.
So what can you tell me about the hearings that took place today?
So here's the quick rundown. Today, January 14th, the Taiwanese legislature held public hearings about the impeachment case against President Lai Ching-te. Basically, different political parties brought in their expert witnesses, professors, and attorneys to give testimony on whether the president's refusal to sign a certain law undermined the Constitution. This is all part of the ongoing process, and while the hearings will continue over the next few months, the final vote on impeachment won't happen until May. Right now, it looks like the opposition still doesn't have the votes to push it through.
Does he not have veto power?
So in Taiwan, the president actually doesn't have a formal veto power like you might see in some other systems. If the legislature passes a law, the president can refuse to countersign it if they think it's unconstitutional or problematic, but that doesn't necessarily kill the law. It can still go into effect if the legislature pushes it through again. So Lai's refusal is more like a political stand, and that's why the opposition is using impeachment as a way to challenge him.
So if he can refuse to sign a law, then how are they claiming that he did something unconstitutional by not signing the law?
Yeah, it does sound a bit like a political gray area. Basically, the opposition is arguing that by refusing to sign the law, Lai is undermining the constitutionally mandated process for how laws are supposed to be enacted. They're framing it as him overstepping his authority. In other words, they're saying he's creating a constitutional crisis by not allowing a duly passed law to proceed. But on the flip side, Lai supporters would argue he's just exercising a check on legislative power. So it's really a political tug of war dressed up in constitutional clothes.
Okay, that's all very interesting. Let's get back to the XQ-58 Valkyrie can carry precision weapons, decoys, and electronic attack payloads utilizing an internal bay for low signature and wing hardpoints for additional effectors once defenses are weakened. Okay. Send them to Taiwan, please. Taiwan highlighted its national defense plans against Chinese invasion during the height of Beijing's military drills around the island last year, revealing a map detailing potential defense lines and strategies against an attack from the mainland. Really? Okay, whatever. Seems like they shouldn't make that public, but Russia shot down an F-16. I definitely had read all of this before. I definitely cleared all of this less than 19 hours ago. So why is it still going? Denmark investing billions in U.S. military equipment to protect Greenland. Maybe that's all we wanted, actually. U.S. State Department revokes over 100,000 visas per year since President Trump took office. Okay. Hmm. Okay, Jesus. Initial conversation check. That's what it's called. That's what ChatGPT called that. Okay, let's move on to econ commentary. What time is it? I should go outside before the sun goes down. Damn, groceries rose 9% month on month in December. That is wild. Why? The economy sucks. Why are food prices going up? "92% of employed Americans have cut back on spending as the standard of living in the U.S. crumbles." What did Greta Thunberg do to be tried for anything? Oh my god, a free speech crime? Holy shit. Now, don't make me like Greta Thunberg. You're making me like Greta Thunberg. She should be allowed to hold up signs. we're going to lower tariffs from Taiwan to 15% from 20%. That's good. I don't know. I feel like if they invest a lot in the US, they set up a lot of factories, the TSMC factories in the US and everything, and they buy a lot of weapons from us, then we should put the tariffs at zero. That said, they do run a massive trade surplus, I believe, and they don't allow their currency to appreciate. So um, I don't know. I feel like I didn't give this one its full. 5 new chip plants in Arizona. $100 billion investment. They want to reach a deal before Trump meets with Xi Jinping. So the ruling was set on Wednesday for the legality of Trump's tariffs. It is currently Wednesday, but it is Wednesday in Asia. So we got to see what happens Wednesday in the US. Yeah, this one I read like the whole thing and I was waiting for the. I mean, it's interesting. It's good. History LLMs. I'm pretty sure that's a LLM that's only trained on things from a particular time period. Beijing responds as Trump's Iran-related tariffs risk derailing U.S.-China trade deal. I think that might be part of the point. Last time we played this game, yeah. I mean, again, that's exactly what I thought when I saw that he had put 25% tariffs on everybody doing trade with Iran. Because the last time he put more tariffs on Beijing, they were like, okay, well, we're going to increase tariffs. And then he was like, well, then we're going to re-increase tariffs. So we could get right back into that game of chicken. How long have I been going for this? This is ridiculous. This is taking a long time. And I'm pretty sure I spent like an hour talking with the mic not on. China analysis, there I am. Oops, I am not sharing this. How long have I not been sharing this for? That's not good. There we go, a little bit of an infinite loop. I should check it and see if there's any. I should check it and see if
about it, but because I am
A post-submission refugee re-verification integrity strengthening, examining and re But the fact that, I mean, here's the thing.
yeah, the mic was fucked up for that whole middle period. That's not good. But it seems like it's good now. Russia and India formalized an Arctic partnership. Okay. Holy shit. This is more spending accelerating Russian infrastructure. Most of Russia is located in far north, where cold winters put strain on infrastructure causing transportation. This problems have been intensified by Russian Vladimir Putin's war against Ukraine because of Kiev's drone attacks and Moscow's diversion of infrastructure funds to war. The infrastructure is collapsing. What is going on? This is China sourcing news. There's just a lot of articles today. And they're I need title only view here, please. Georgia drifting back into Russia's orbit. Really? Why? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, we got Minnesota International News, Econ Commentary. We're going to save SEO for later. Anything else that I missed? Okay, let's go over to FeedSpot. I wish I had more coffee. Lithium blocks. Whatever. Far left. Will Trump kill NATO? Looks like maybe Trump has finally found a way to get Europeans to invest in defense. Did they just repost something from the 90s? Contempt of Congress proceedings against Bill Clinton. Oh, because he defied a subpoena to testify in the Epstein investigation. Wow. Interesting. All right. The only thing on here is this one. This is the one. All right. Let's read English first and then move on to Chinese. Former legislative speaker named SEF chairman. Okay. Two Chinese nationals were indicted Tuesday for allegedly recruiting more than 70 engineers in Taiwan on behalf of Chinese consumer electronics manufacturer OnePlus Technology, Shenzhen, without prior authorization. Hey, here we go. Am I a foreign professional? New measures aimed at making Taiwan more attractive for foreign professionals came into effect. The National Development Council and changes international students at Taiwan University will be able to work in Taiwan without a work permit in the 2 years after they graduate. In addition, foreign nationals who graduate from one of the top 200 universities within the past 5 years can apply for a 2-year open work permit. If you get a undergraduate, master's, or postgraduate degree in Taiwan, you can deduct 1, 2, or 3 years from a 5-year working residency requirement. Hmm. Honestly, that article just made me made me nervous about my immigration status more so than anything. Interesting. That air pollution warning. I kind of have been thinking that I have some weird stuff going on with my nose and mucus. It's like, hey, I haven't been smoking or anything. What could possibly be causing this? Actually, let's look at the Ukraine war logs first. Ukraine spent months killing Crimea's radars. Now it's killing the jets they protected. Interesting. It's been 1,417 days of Ukrainian resistance to Russian military aggression. Hmm. Okay, I thought there would be like a summary at the end of like casualties and stuff, but I don't know. I guess I could ask ChatGPT or Gemini to provide that. Anyways, that was from January 10th. I didn't even look at January 14th. Let's mark all these red. All right, here we go with the Taiwanese news. All right. I didn't see anything in there particularly interesting. Is there anything in the chatbot dev? Only one, huh? All right. I kind of want to do this. Even though I might burn some SEO posts, but that's okay. Let's check this out first, though. These are the editorials. I don't know. I wasn't seeing anything too interesting there. These ones, of course, are always. What is the Remen Urbau talking about? I think I have this in 2 different 5 hours ago. All right, whatever. So let's just go with all posts and see what we got here. All unread posts here. Iron toxicity. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and mark all those as red. And all these as red. Although honestly, I haven't really seen these popping up in feed spot lately, so I'm not sure what's the best, because I'm pretty sure they should be in the chat developer section, the chat, but there's only one in there. So how does that work exactly? My narration of what I'm doing has gotten so bad that this is going to be not even useful to my own self. Even I won't know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right. Anyways, this is the OpenAI forum. Let's just make sure that there's nothing in here that I feel like I can't miss. Not really. All right. Only 28 articles left. Huh. So the number of foreigners has crashed in this guy's city, but then the number of tourists is up. That's weird. Whatever happened to Launay and half pats? Fragmented sleep predicts slower mental processing speed the next day for older adults. There we go. That explains a lot. I don't know if I qualify as an older adult, but hey, I feel it. Um, all right, that's everything. At FeedSpot. Revenue is down 50% and 100% at immigrant-run businesses. I mean, it is true. Even people that don't have anything shouldn't have anything to worry about because they have green cards or they have citizenship are kind of scared to go outside. But who knows whether there's definitely some exaggeration going on about. But I don't know. The video didn't look fake at all with where they're like gonna detain a kid that. Why is there somebody just sitting there filming? Could that person go get the kid's ID maybe? All right, we're 10 in here. All right, I guess I'll skip the. Actually, all right, fine. I want to do the all feeds thing on Feedly, even though it's going to kill some of my SEO articles. But if it does, I'll just save them, and then I'll start my SEO section from my Google saved. There's something rattling around in my headphone. That's not good. Multiple vulnerabilities in Google Chrome could allow for arbitrary code execution. So when you quit smoking, you have heightened pain. By the way, I try to subscribe to far right and far left sources and compare what they say and what the mainstream media says. So, although I am subscribed to the RSS feed for Stormfront, that doesn't mean I am like a Nazi and I agree with anything they say. It's just want to hear all sides of the debate. I also subscribe to so many feeds that are run by communists. And I used to subscribe to 4chan on here, but I stopped because the volume is just too much volume. Deep brain region could be crucial for preserving physical strength. How does that make any sense? Results of microplastics throughout the human body have been the result of contamination and false positives. Uh-oh, here we go. You got some SEO stuff, how brands can respond to misleading Google AI overviews. What you know what? If I just stop right here, then those will still be unread. So I'll do that there. One hour and 45 minutes to read some news. Is that excessive? Is that ridiculous? Probably. I don't really need to go to be that. There wasn't really any news though. Like nothing has happened in the past 15 hours or however long it's been. Except for Scott Adams died. Ilhan Omar is trending. IRGC is trending. Iran massacre. What was the latest from Trumpster? Free Iran is trending. What's the latest about Ilhan? Let's find out. Okay, that's all. That's gonna do it for news today, I think. I don't think I've missed anything. We're good. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll do a search for Lai Ching-da real quick. Is that how I don't think that's how you say his name. Yeah. Lai Ching-da. Yes, it is. All right, whatever. That's in there. I'm gonna get into SEO stuff in a minute. And take a break, get another coffee, and then get into SEO stuff on the other channel.